Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and I have a pet peeve. it's it's a weird one. Um, it is the expression "buy what you love," and there's nothing really wrong with that expression, but I do see I see it as being a bit of a crutch. And what happens is people will ask other collectors, or they'll ask their comic book guy, um, what comic would you recommend? Should I invest in this or should I buy this? And they'll say, buy what you love. And it just seems like a bit of a crutch answer. It doesn't. Pretty much a non-answer. And I've said it myself to people: buy what you love, and but a lot of the time, I find that most people, when they ask the question, it's actually a legitimate question. And what's happening is they're not just asking what it is that is valuable or going to go up in the future, but they're asking um, about what comics are out there. They don't even know. They're coming into it a bit blind, and often what you have to do is kind of educate them and kind of give them some guidance on what things to buy or what things that they might like. So what you do is a much better approach, and this pet peeve was kind of triggered by, I watched a video where somebody wrote in asking about crime and pre-code horror comics and how hot they were, and asked if right now was the time to buy into them, or is it going to be like another bubble and that bubble is going to burst and they will be left holding the bag with these comics. And the person answering the question said, buy what you love, and really didn't answer the question. I would have rather them say, if you like those books, you can buy them without that fear of that you're going to be stuck holding the bag. So even if they go down in the future, well, you bought what you loved, and you'll be still happy with your purchase. And that's generally what this whole expression comes from: buy what you love. um, but I kind of wanted them to say something a little bit more and say, hey, look, these golden age comics, these pre-code horror comics, maybe hot right now, and they've been consistently hot all year, um, but they're not like the modern comics and the silver, like the way the modern comic market went was way too much. It just went, the prices that we saw were doubling and doubling and doubling on books that were fairly common. And generally, what would happen is the following: it was almost like a crash that was being built with the modern comics. It was a situation where you had like some hot book of the week, and the price went from $1 all the way up to $100 overnight. It just went up. And what happened was there was not many of those on the market because nobody knew that this was going to be the hot comic of the week. And once people said, "Hey, wow, this one is going to be hot," they dumped all their all their copies of that book onto the market, and all of a sudden the price would be set to crash. There was a little bit overhype where people actually thought there was enough of a market to keep those books constantly going up, but there was just too many copies of those books. There was like thousands of copies of those books, so that after a while there was just not enough buyers for the number of books that were on the market. Well, the difference with pre-code horror is you're looking at like when there's a lot of something, there's maybe 100 issues. That's it, 100 copies, and that's considered a lot. Generally, a lot of the issues maybe only have 20 copies out there. So it's not the way it was for the modern market. There's just not enough supply to meet the demand, and that's what's happening. So when people get interested in something, well, it only takes like two buyers to drive up the price. Um, some of these books in the golden age, especially with the pre-code horror, you might only see once or twice a year, and that means that when people see it come up to market, well, they're gonna jump on it, and the price will go up, and that's why we're seeing this hot market. it's not a situation where where like the modern age where you buy what you love and you don't have to worry because you bought something you loved and blah blah blah. It's more the situation that this might be the only time you can buy it, and that's why the price is going up. And it's a little bit safer, it's more recession proof. It's not 100% recession proof. I have seen some pre-code horror books go down in price, and I'll give you an example. The one that's right over my shoulder, which is Ghost Comics. That was one of the ones that was early on in the boom for pre-code horror, and they went up in price, and they have subsequently dropped a bit. Not like the way we see with the modern books, but drop maybe 20% of the hype prices, and that can happen. But my point is, with the pre-code horror, you're much more cushioned from that fall. And if collectors kind of come back into the hobby of buying Golden Age, then what'll end up happening is, as more buyers come in, there's no additional supply, so those books will generally go up in price. So that's generally the way I would have answered the question. So all I'm asking with all this rambling that I'm saying is is that rather than saying just buy what you love, you can say that, but say more. Just, if somebody comes to you and asks you, what should I buy? Try to educate them, try to help them find things that they love. Like, for example, with me, when I first started collecting Golden Age, I really didn't know about so many of the titles. Somebody that was watching one of my videos, I had bought one random issue, which was a Fiction House book, and somebody said, "Oh, did you ever see this title within Fiction House or this title within Fiction House?" And I was like, "No, I didn't know anything about it." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I, started learning about it, and I didn't even know what I loved because I didn't have that exposure until I did the research and kind of got into those books. So a lot of the time, that's what people are really asking. They're asking, what can I love? What books might I love? So often what you can do, instead of just, as I said, instead of just saying that very trite answer of buy what you love, say, what kind of things do you love now? And then building on that. Like, for example, if they like sexy girls on the book, they might like good girl art. And you could say, hey, these titles might be in your kind of wheelhouse of things you might like. And these are good titles that actually might have that investment opportunity as well. If they like horror, like scary stories, then you can say, well, you might really like pre-code horror, or you might gravitate to these stories, or you might like some modern titles like Department of Truth and Stray Dogs, and there's some modern titles, Ice Cream Man, there's like some modern titles that you could buy. So always kind of try to inform beyond just giving a simple answer. Because a lot of these times when people ask these kind of questions, they're asking out of just almost ignorance, but sincere ignorance, that they're actually curious about the hobby. So as ambassadors of the comic book hobby, let's do our best to educate and kind of create that excitement and interest for the hobby. So be a little bit more keen is my point. Just share. Sharing is caring. Another one of those typical trope answers. But the point is, really show where they can go with the hobby, where they can go with their collecting. And a lot of the time, you can really build new collectors, and that's the goal. That's always been my goal as well. I like, the reason I got into making YouTube videos, reason I got into the hobby, is I enjoy the hobby and I enjoy the community of it. And one of the things we got to do as ambassadors of the hobby is promote the hobby to other people that will become new ambassadors for the hobby. So I hope I didn't step on anyone's toes that use that term, but all I'm asking is for people to think a little bit more deeply. Don't be so superficial with it, and say, hey, try this. Help educate people. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to hear your opinion. Am I totally wrong? Am I totally out to lunch? Just tell me in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.